Alright, so this is the playlist that I use for TDM and free-for-all modes when hosting in R5 Reloaded. So I'm just going to go over what all the changes are from the base Season 3 version of Apex and what I've done. So you start off with a Wingman R99 when you spawn. You've got a grapple on a 6-second cooldown, and stim is your ultimate. Everyone also starts with double jump, so that way you can do little tap strafes in the air because it's really fun. Also, it makes it so that when you hit a jump pad, you will bounce off of it. Another thing I've done is I've given every optic in the game on every weapon the same digital threat highlight that you get with a Digithreat optic, and this will highlight all enemies when you're ADS. The reason I did this was to increase visibility for target tracking and acquisition in fast-paced TDM modes. It also helps alleviate some of the symptoms of muzzle flash and particle effects present in the Season 3 build. Helps alleviate that quite a bit. This also scales depending on what weapon you're using. So for R9 Wingman and SMGs, pistols, things like that, close range weapons, the Digithreat highlights will only work to the same range as a normal Digithreat optic would. But if you were to equip a R301 assault rifle, those will go a bit further. So over here, that dummy would be highlighted if I had a 301 right now. And snipers use the same highlight range as the sniper Digithreat optic would. And that applies for iron sights and everything. So if I use iron sights, they're still highlighted. And that also scales depending on the weapon. Another thing that this playlist has is Tgive is enabled. Tgive is the command you use to give yourself different weapons and abilities. Also, I've rebalanced every single weapon in the game to be competitively viable in a TDM free-for-all environment, where nothing is too OP or broken, and nothing is too underpowered as well. So things like the P2020 in Mozambique will have the Season 10 values, so they will, Mozambique will have 6 rounds in the clip, things like that. I've also converted the Kraber into basically a Sentinel, so that it's not too broken in free-for-all and TDM. Another big thing that I've changed is I've given every weapon in the game 0 air spread while ADS. This means that if you're mid-air in the normal game, the normal version of Apex, when you're mid-air in ADS, your bullets will fly all over the place. They won't go towards the center of your screen. There's a built-in inaccuracy penalty while flying through the air. So what I've done is I've disabled that so that if you're flying through the air, you'll have your crosshair on target and you fire your gun, you will hit that player. I don't want to punish anyone for using advanced movement techniques by having their weapons be inaccurate. So now I'm going to demonstrate what it looks like to have 0 air spread in this game. Just for the purposes of this test, I've lowered the gravity so that it can stay airborne longer to give you a better example. As you can see, my shots were all landing right on the crosshair, actually exactly on the crosshair. This works for all weapons. So even though I'm mid-air, the bullets travel where my crosshair is. So now I will go into every single weapon and what I've changed. So this is going to take a while, but if you want to try the playlist, I will have it in the description. I will also be uploading a tutorial on how to use Tgive on servers that have this enabled. It's really quite simple, but it should help a lot of you. I will also link that in the description once it is uploaded. Alright, so we'll start with the defaults. When you first spawn in, you will have, like I said, grapple, stim, wingman, R99. And the R99 has had its damage reduced from 12 down to 11 per shot, just like Season 10. The Wingman is pretty much unchanged from Season 3. The only difference is that no mag starts with 6 rounds, just like Season 10. Purple mag maxes out at 9 rounds. It also has all the quick draw hop-up perks that they added into Season 10 for all pistols. Because it used to be a separate hop-up, but now they just made it part of the weapon stats. So you'll have slightly, about 10% faster zoom-in time. And you'll also have faster draw time, things like that. It's very, very small. It's barely noticeable, to be honest. But it's there. Okay, so we'll start with the Alternator for balance changes. So what I have done is made the base clip size 19, like in the Season 10. And also the damage is 16 instead of 15, so a slight buff there. It also has the ability to hold disruptor rounds. So with the Alternator having disruptors equipped, it doesn't show in the UI that it's equipped, but it is, as you can tell. To balance it properly, I've reduced the mag size. So when you have disruptors equipped, it is only 75% of your mag size, and that scales depending on which mag you have. So instead of 19, I have 14 rounds without a mag, and it caps out at 20. This is just to make it so that there is a pro and a con to using disruptor rounds. As you can tell, these dummies do not have shields, so I have no way to really demonstrate that what the damage is like with disruptors equipped on shields, but I can tell you this, that it is the same as Season 10. Okay, so next weapon is the RE45. So what I've done is, again, incorporated the quick draw perks into the weapon. So faster ADS time, faster deploy time, things like that. It also has slightly increased damage. Now it does 12 damage per shot, just like Season 10. It also has the ability to equip the disruptor rounds. So with disruptor rounds equipped, it's the same as it behaves in Season 3. So what that means is that against flesh, it's only going to do 11 damage, just like Season 3. But against shields, it will have a 1.15 damage multiplier. That is the default for Season 3. So it'll do a bit more damage to shields. Also, I have scaled the mag down a bit when you have this hop-up equipped. As you can see, I only have 13 rounds in a clip without a mag. But if I add a mag, it maxes out at 20. And again, to compare, without the hop-up equipped, it has 25 in the round mag. And 12 damage per shot. So now we have the Longbow. It's the only thing I changed was damage. Now it has 60 per shot, just like Season 10. That's the only thing I changed. So now we move on to the Tripletake. What I've done is basically imported all the stats from Season 10 onto the Tripletake. So it's got the faster strafe speed while ADS. As you can see in the top left corner, my velocity is 73.74. That is the same as it is in Season 10 for all marksman weapons, like the G7 and the 3030 and Tripletake. It also has the same charging function as Season 10, where it charges faster and it holds its charge slightly after you zoom out. The fire rate is also fairly quick. And the mag size is also reflective of what it is in Season 10. So now we move on to the Havoc. Basically what I've changed is I've given it all its Season 10 stats for mag size, damage, everything. The only thing is that because all assault rifles in Season 10 have had their headshot multiplier reduced, it will no longer be a 2 times headshot multiplier, but instead a 1.75. So 18 to the body, 31 to the head without a helmet. I also imported the recoil pattern for Season 10 as well. So it's still quite accurate, but not as accurate as it was in Season 6 or 7 or so. It can also be equipped with a select fire. And the select fire, when active, will bring back the 2x headshot multiplier. So 60 to the body, 120 to the head. So now we move on to the Peacekeeper. What I've changed is I've heavily nerfed the damage to match Season 10. Basically, all the stats are now Season 10 values, with a longer charge up time and a faster charge removal, and a max damage to the body of about 99. The headshot multipliers have also been adjusted for all shotguns to match Season 10. So the max damage you could possibly do with the PK to the head is 121. And that's without a helmet. Also, the rounds, it only has 5 rounds in the clip, just like Season 10. Alright, so now we're on to the G7. I've done quite a bit to this weapon. What I've changed is the fire rate now matches Season 10. So it's a bit slower than it was in Season 3. It also, I've kept the ability for the double tap because it's fun. I've also kept the ability for it to have sniper optics, because that's also fun. And I've removed the ability for it to collateral, as in when I shoot this dummy, it won't damage the one behind him, because that is a trait that only snipers have, not marksman weapons. It's also had its ADS speed increased to match the marksman weapon category in Season 10, along with its zoom in time and all those things. And it's also had its projectile speed changed to Season 10. So it's basically exactly the same as it would be in Season 10. The only difference is that you can have double tap and a sniper scope. So now we move on to the Hemlok. Basically everything has been changed to Season 10 as well, including everything from fire rate to single fire rate, headshot multipliers. Everything should feel just like Season 10 after the recent buff that they gave it. And now the single fire. Also, what I've done is, instead of a single fire mode, is actually a full auto mode, just at the same fire rate that the single fire mode is in Season 10. The reason why I did this is because, personally, I just don't like to spam my mouse button to click as fast as possible. It just seems easier and less carpal tunnel inducing to have it set as a full auto mode. Much easier. So now we move on to the Spitfire. What I've tried to do is make it somewhere between where it is now in Season 10 as a care package weapon, but that would be too strong for TDM, so I've kind of nerfed it back into previous seasons as well. So the damage values will be the same as Season 3. We'll be doing 18 per shot. The mag sizes are 40, or default 35, then 40, 45, and then 50 for the full purple mag. So, reload times, again, are a little bit slower than Season 3. They match what's in Season 10. And that's really about it. That's all I've really done to the Spitfire. Alright, so now we move on to the LSTAR. If you remember in Season 3, the LSTAR had a 40-round magazine, plus an overheat, and it shot very, very quickly. So, I have basically converted this entirely into the Season 10 version of the LSTAR. I've imported every variable into it. So everything from the recoil pattern down to the overheat and the fact that it uses ammo directly from your backpack. But since this is TDM, it'll say 0 bullets, but it is because this mode has infinite ammo. It also does the same amount of damage, so we're doing about 18 per shot. I did have some difficulties trying to get this weapon exactly like Season 10 because there are some weapon variables that they have added since Season 3 that make certain mechanics possible on the LSTAR. So, for example, there are 2 separate weapon variables for the LSTAR when it comes to the overheat. The delay once you fully overheat the weapon, and there's another variable that controls the decay rate of the overheat without fully overheating it. So because those variables only exist in the modern version of the game, I've had to make some compromises since there's only one overheat value that I can adjust, and that applies to both the full overheat and how fast it cools down between shots. But more or less, this is basically as close as you can get to Season 10. So now we move on to the Mastiff. Basically, the Mastiff used to be a care package shotgun, and it was extremely strong. It had 4 rounds in the mag, and was very, very OP. So I've converted it to Season 10. It's got 6 rounds in the clip. Fairly slow rate of fire without a bolt. It does a maximum of 88 damage to the chest. And I have made it possible to add shotgun bolts and optics to it, but the UI won't reflect that when you add it to it. And it can only be added with the console. So I'll add it right now. So here we have the Mastiff with an HCOG and a level 3 bolt. It doesn't show up as having the attachments equipped, but as you can tell, when I drop the weapon, the attachments drop with it. So if I grab this gun now, I can't attach the HCOG. It just puts it in my bag. So the only way to do it is to use the Tgive command. And again, I have a tutorial for that coming soon. Okay, so now we move on to the Prowler. Not much has changed here. Everything's Season 10 value. The only difference is that I've kept the ability to equip a select fire hop-up. So as you can tell, the burst delay, as in the time between bursts, is a little bit slower now, and that is what they've changed in Season 10. It's a very small change, but it is noticeable and does affect the DPS of the weapon in burst fire mode. So now we'll do select fire. And it's a pretty good weapon. That's it for the Prowler. Alright, so for the R301, I've basically changed absolutely nothing. The only thing I've changed is the headshots are now a 1.75 times multiplier instead of a 2 times, just like Season 10. However, I have kept the anvil receiver as a hop-up, and that will bring it back to having a 2 times multiplier. 35 to the body, 70 to the head. Not much changed for this weapon. Alright, so for the P2020, it has had its damage buffed to Season 10 values, along with the quick draw hop-up integration, so 10% better handling, and mag sizes have been increased to match Season 10. So everything should be Season 10 value. 18 damage to the body, 27 to the head. Fire rate has also been reduced to Season 10. However, if you equip the hammer points, it'll revert the damage to Season 3 values against shields. So it'll be doing 13 to shields, but it'll be doing 35 to flesh. And the fire rate has also been increased slightly. So it's somewhere between Season 3 and Season 10 because it was so easy to spam it at that high fire rate. It was kind of ridiculous. So I've made it just slightly faster with hammers. I have also done the same thing as I did with the Hemlok, where I made it full auto so you don't have to spam click. You can just hold the trigger down and not get carpal tunnel syndrome. The mag sizes have also been lowered when hammer points are equipped. So as you can see, hammer point equipped, I only have 8 rounds in the mag. It also does not have the same handling perks as quick draw when you have hammer points equipped. So you get a slight nerf to your handling, your ADS speed, things like that. So as you can see, the ADS speed is like this with hammers equipped, but without equipped, it's just about 10% faster. So you get a slight handling bonus when you have a normal P20 versus the hammer points. So 16 rounds max in the mag with the hammer points. Take the hammer points off. I can reload it up to 21. So full auto is enabled for both the default P20 and the hammer point P20. Alright, so now we have the EVA 8. What I've done is imported all the values from Season 10, just like most of the other weapons. The headshot scales for all shotguns have been reduced from Season 3. It used to be a lot higher, so now it should reflect the same damage as Season 10. But I've also kept the double tap, because why not? Alright, so for the Mozambique, you can tell already that it's got 6 rounds in the mag, and still does 45 damage per shot. I've reduced its spread for its pellets to be tighter when ADS than Season 3, so you can hit people from pretty far away now for 45 damage. Yeah, it's pretty good at range, so just like Season 10, it's actually quite a strong weapon now. But you can also equip hammer points to it. But when you do so, mag size is reduced to 3. But it is still very strong because it still maintains the same pellet spread as Season 2. So you can really hit people for a lot of damage from far away when they're low health. This is a very, very strong, but 3 rounds make it high risk, high reward. I've also reduced the unshielded damage scale a little bit because before it was very easy to one-tap someone if they had no shields. But now you're only going to be doing 90. Whereas before you'd do like 150 or something ridiculous. It was basically a guaranteed kill. So it has been reduced to be a little bit less overpowered. Alright, so now we've got the Kraber, which has been converted into a kind of makeshift Sentinel. The reason I have changed the Kraber so much is that in a TDM free-for-all mode, having a weapon as strong as the Kraber available to all players at any time is kind of broken and OP. So what this does is I've basically copy and pasted all the Season 10 values for the Sentinel into the file for the Kraber. The only thing is, because it's a care package weapon, or the Kraber is in Season 3, I can't add attachments to it. So you're basically stuck with a 6x scope, and I can't attach mags or anything like that. So to compromise, I have given it the maximum amount of rounds that the Sentinel can hold with a purple mag. So that's 7. So for damage, instead of doing 70 per shot, it will be doing 79. The reason for this is because there's no code in the game that I can use in Season 3 to give it a shield cell charging mechanic. That does not exist. So what I've done is done a halfway point between 88 damage and 70 damage, because 88 is what it does when charged. It will also do 158 to the head if there's no helmet. You can stay zoomed in between shots, just like the Sentinel. As for fire rate, I have also done a halfway point between the default Sentinel's fire rate and the fire rate that you get with the tempo hop-up equipped. So again, compromising due to the lack of hop-ups and things like that that we have from Season 10. Alright, so for the Flatline, again, not much has changed since Season 3, but I put as much Season 10 stats in it as I could. So it is still doing 19 damage per shot. The recoil is the same. Everything is the same. The only thing is the headshot multiplier has been reduced. Along with all assault rifles, the headshot multiplier has been reduced from 2 down to 1.75. As you can see, 19 body, 33 head. However, when using the anvil receiver, it will bump that back up to 2 again. So we'll be doing 43 to the body, 86 to the head.